All right. Firstly, thank you so much for being part of this training session, and thanks a lot for supporting this initiative by us. So the whole idea for this initiative was to like collectively learn and from each other's questions. So because everyone has their own uh, scenarios, and at some point in time everyone has comes to that particular point. So I think it is good to learn in a collective way, so that everyone gets the answer to their questions. So firstly, I'll like just briefly, because it's the first session, I'll just briefly explain you how we'll go about it. So I have divided this session into three parts. One is manage participants, then there is invite participants, and then there is user management. Okay, and at the end of each part, we'll be taking a question answer session, so that you can ask about that particular part immediately and not wait for the end of the call to get everything together. We'll go in that particular manner. And when it comes to questions, my colleague Ketki would be kind of seeing the list of participants. So please raise your hands whenever you have questions. So she'll be kind of shouting out names, and then you can maybe unmute and ask your question. Because if there are like everyone starts, then it would be a problem. And if at all there is a point where we are not able to take your questions due to time constraints, then do not worry. We like we have a feedback form at the end where you'll be able to put your questions, and I'll make a recording for that attached to this particular recording, and then all the questions would still be answered. So do not worry about that. So I'll try to cover as much as possible, but yeah, just in case, I'm sorry in advance in case I have missed your questions. So yeah, so to start with, we will basically start with the managed participants. Like let us first define what are participants, because this is a very regular confusion that happens between participants, users, and things. So participants, when it comes to ProBench, is participants are the entities for which we collect data using ProBench. So these participants can be companies, they can be signatories, they can be employees. Like if you are collecting data for employees, like some of our clients actually do it. So in those cases, like even employees can be part of participants, and etc. So these are the like companies, like corporates for which we collect the data, are actually called as participants. And the users of the participants are something different, which will come to that point. So the data is collected for the companies and signatories. And there are different users. Do not confuse them with users or administrators. So participants, as I said, is not equal to users, or participants are not equals to administrators. So just to clear out the confusion at the very start of the this manage participant screen. Now I'll take you to how to manage the participants, how you can add participants into the system, how you can like modify their details, how you can kind of add additional fields. So all those I'll take in this session. So I'll just try to demonstrate. Is all right. So firstly, like whenever you log into ProBench, this is the first screen that you see in, that is manage participants. Okay. So this participants is basically the list of all the company signatories, as I mentioned, or employees. Whatever. So this list screen would give you like complete. You can search a participant, and you can like create the participant from here. So all those things you can do. So like just a brief before we go into deep, is like whatever you are currently seeing on the system is like on the live side, it is a bit different at this point, because we are going to make a new release next Wednesday. So I'm just showing this to you in advance, so that after next Wednesday, you will see whatever I'm showing you, because you are going to refer to videos at a later stage. So we have made certain modifications to this. So display name as the which means the name of the company or signatories, that's the display name. Company code, I'll come to that at the time of invite participants. Then there is a show progress that we have added recently. So what does show progress do is, when we click on show progress, it would show me that this particular participant, which are the surveys this participant have started. Okay, and what is the progress of that participant? Like if it is they have completed 100% of it, they have completed 50% of it. So you will see the progress of each of the participants, and along with that, sorry, each of the surveys given by that participant, and along with that, you will also see whether they have submitted it or not submitted. Okay, and if the list goes big once, like after a few years, then you can always search and see if they have a progress for a particular survey. So this is what the show progress link would do, and I think it would help you, like rather than creating a data set for seeing the progress, I think this might help you to get an idea for that participant. The second improvement that we are currently doing, and this is like assigned groups. So now the regions that used to be regions previously, those who are aware of it, now we are renaming it to groups. So because those are groups, they are no longer regions. Like regions is always kind of confused by the geographic region, so we thought to change that particular name into groups. So assigned groups is basically the regions, and you will be able to see whatever regions that particular company is assigned to, so that you don't have to go and edit and see like what regions are assigned to it, because regions play a very important part when it comes to the visibility of the survey to a particular participant, right? So that's the reason we have created this pop-up here directly, which you can see. The next is the status. So here you will see whether that participant is active or inactive. So if you want that participant to no longer participate in any of the surveys that are going on, you can deactivate that participant when you go to the edit screen. So that is what. And under action, you have like as usual, like login as participant. So you can log in as that particular participant using this. So if as a manager you want to go and answer or see an answer to the responses that are given by that particular participant, or you want to go and modify, you want to go and review, then this is the screen or this is the icon or button you should be using. Okay, so when you click on that icon, it would take you to that particular company, and as a manager you can go and answer the responses or view the responses for that participants. So that is what, so it's kind of an impersonation that we as a manager can do for each as a company's user. So that is what that button would help you to do. And over and above all these things, we also have show filters. Show filters is like to filter the list of participants that you're seeing at the bottom. So when I click on 73-bit, so only 3 participants came up. When I click on global benchmark, then only one of the participants got into it. Like if you have many participants and if you want to only see like for a particular region or group, what are the participants that are available or that are assigned to that particular group. This is the filter that you can use. The next filter is the survey filter. So whoever participants have actually, like when I click on the survey, so you'll come to know like which participant has actually participated in that survey. So that filter would only show the participants who have participated in the survey that I've selected in this particular. So similarly, you have participant state, which is like whether it's an active participant, inactive participant. You can like select and decide whether you just want to see the active participants. And third, that is participant fields. So if you have any additional fields that you have added, like sector and all those fields, sector, industry, which is like given as an additional field, then you can, I'll show that to you in the next part when I'll see you the edit of the participants. So you'll get an idea what these participant fields are. All right, so this is what is the whole list page. So you have all the filters and whatever information you need for that participant here. So now I'll go to the edit screen. So here I'm like, we have modified this screen a bit and compartmentalized so that there is less of confusion. So again, this is going to be released next Wednesday. So, but I just wanted to show you here. So we are compartmentalizing so that you do not have any confusion as to, because currently when you go into the participant edit page, there are lots of fields that are there, and it kind of confuses you guys to kind of what fields are for what purpose and what are mandatory fields and all those things. So we have kind of created the groups which would help you to kind of navigate through. So the mandatory information, as it suggests, is the mandatory information when you actually create participant. So only the mandatory information is needed. Rest of the information can be left blank if you do not have that information with you. So in the mandatory information, there is display name as the name of the company. Then there is group, the regions that it used to be called previously. So you can select from which group this particular participant is from, or which group of surveys they should be participating in, or they should be seeing that surveys. So that can be selected in the group. Then you can activate, deactivate the participant from here, and then you can like log in as that participant from here as well. So these are some of the mandatory fields. Rest of all the fields are kind of voluntary ones, so you don't have to worry about other fields. The next section is the contact information. So here you provide with the primary contact and email address. So this is used when you want to invite participants through ProBench. Okay, so if you are inviting the participant through ProBench, then the invitations are actually sent to primary contact email address and primary contact name. So the name would be going in the email address, but primary contact email address is the very important thing. And as it is mentioned, you can also have comma separated emails here. You just separate it by comma, and you can mention it like this. So the emails, the invitation emails would be going to both the email addresses. All right, so that's about the contact information. The next is auto generated information. So this is like as the name suggests, these fields, if not entered, are automatically generated, so you do not have to worry about these fields. The next is the invite participant. So even on this particular screen, if you are adding a new participant and you directly want to invite the participant, you can directly do it from here. So you can select the email template, whatever you want, and click on send invite, and it would send the invitation to the contact information that you have added. So unless you click the contact information, sorry, this area won't be displayed, and you will not be able to send the invitation. So that contact email address, primary contact email address, is very important for this area to work. Else you will see a message here saying that the primary contact email is not available. Okay, so previously, like, this was also not part of this page. The user means our clients, like you guys had to kind of go to the invite participant screen and then search for that one single participant using filters and then send it across. But now, like, it is directly on this page. So in case you want to like directly add a new participant and invite immediately, you would be able to do it from here. All right, the next is the additional fields. So like as the name suggests, these are the additional fields. So like this can be different for our different clients. Okay, so this particular area is completely configurable, so we call it as participant fields. Okay, so like some of our clients use like industry, short name of the company, websites of the company, like your AOIM, like a signatory program. So all the clients have their own set of additional fields. So this additional fields is, like as name suggests, it would store additional information for that particular participant. So if you want that for whatever surveys that you are conducting within or using ProBench, you want this information to be kind of consistent. Okay, so instead of adding those questions to the survey, you can have those fields directly here, so that every time you create a new survey, you do not have to get that information from the client, unless like if your business case is such that you have to ask those information every time, then it's a different matter. But if you want to have it consistent throughout, like if Nestle has to have certain sector always or certain industry always, then it's always advisable to have these participant fields or new participant fields. So I'll get back to like I'll in a session I'll let you know like how you can add these participant fields. But so far these are the main areas that are normally needed when it comes to like editing a participant. So I'll just click on cancel and try to like show you just a screen like when you create a participant. So when you create a participant, only you will see 3 tabs, that is mandatory information. So I'll just for an example, I'll just select a couple of things. I'll make it active. And here I'll select this and say create. Okay, so now you will be able to see other information because now you have added the contact information as well. And if you see, the auto generated fields are automatically created here. So it's just 3-step process. You give the name, you select the group, and to activate the participant, and rest of the things are already there. If you want a contact information, you can add that, but otherwise everything is kind of an optional information that you are adding to it. All right, so this is what I can send the email, and then the additional fields. So you can add the additional fields and click on update all, or you can even like uh, test. So you can also like click on save, and that would basically add it here. All right, so this is what the things are. Now how to add the participant fields. So I'll go to setup, and then there is a participant fields menu. All right, so here you would be able to create the new participant fields. All right, so I'll again repeat setup, and then there is a participant fields menu. Inside participant, you can add any number of participant fields. There are no constraints there. So now when I click on create, okay, so this number is auto generated, so you do not have to worry about it. You can add the code. So if I want to add industry, then I'll add a code as industry. Then there is a display text. So this display text is like what you actually see on the edit screen. So just so that there is no confusion. So whatever things you see as a label here is part of the display text here. Okay, so that is also complete. So this is the description just for your information, why you are adding that field or what that field would hold. And then you can select from the type, whether you want to have a drop down or a radio or a multi-select checkbox. You can select from a type, and if you are selecting a say drop down or a radio, then you can have multiple options like test 1 or test 2, or maybe like just to give you an idea, it's an IT sector, then health care. So you can have all these things, and I can like let me take it as drop down and click on create. Okay, so this number automatically appeared here, and the new are added. Now I'll just refresh the screen. So I'll go to industry. Now I'll be able to see the industry, and IT and healthcare is here. So it's like immediately would be added, and there is no need of any intervention from our end if you want to create such fields. So this is the participant fields. So yeah, this is what it is. Any like if you want to ask any questions, please ask.
Gautam, Eva already asked one question on chat,
Sure.
and I've already, yeah, but I've
Okay.
answered the same. But if you can,
Sure. So what Eva asked is, are groups and regions the same? If not, what is the difference? So Eva, yes, groups and regions are same. So previously it was called as regions, but because we have been asked a lot of questions, or normally our clients are quite confused about what that region should have, we have now renamed it to group. So going forward, we are making that modification. Yet we have not done it on all the screens, but we are making that modification, and going forward we are going to call it as group, so that the name signifies what it actually means. So there is no confusion.
Thank you. And I have another question. So
Sure.
with if they are in multiple groups, would you generally tend to have them linked to the same survey? So
Sorry, I
match.
didn't get your question. Can you repeat that, please?
So if you have 3 surveys, A, B,
Right.
C, would
Right.
you generally have groups that are also A, B, and C to match?
That's not actually needed, but in like surveys can be like, if you say, like for example, like there is a group, like suppose you are doing surveys by sectors. Okay, so if you have multiple you have a sector or a group called as telecom, information technology and telecom is one sector, and you do multiple surveys for that one sector. Okay, so you just have to have that one group, because all the participants who are part of that group would be able to participate in all the surveys that are part of that group. Okay, so there can be one to many, and there can be one to one as well. Now if you like, if you're doing a survey year on year, then there is no need that you create groups for every year. So if there is a group, say service provider, so a service provider is just one group, and under that group you have service provider assessment 2020, 2021, 2022. Multiple surveys are part of the same group. So whichever participants is part of that group, you would be able, means they would be able to kind of participate in all the 3, depending on when is the deadline and all those things. So it's not one-on-one relation there. It's one to many.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Any questions about this part?
Gautam?
Oops, sorry,
Rina. No, go ahead, Teresa. Sorry.
No, I'm just sorry. I'm very new to ProBench, and I'm just a bit confused about this participant fields. So what does it actually relate to, if you don't mind just explaining that? Is it something the participant sees? Is it something that's actually in the survey? Is it just something to help manage the survey participant?
Right. So participant fields is not like something that the companies would be able to see, but participant fields are more to do with storing additional information about that participant inside ProBench. Okay, and this is mainly used, like say sector participant field, or say industry participant fields. Those fields are normally used when you get the data out of the system. So if you want to say average based on sectors, or you want to say average based on industry, then whenever you use data sets in ProBench and get the data out of the system, and you do some calculations on the data, or do some statistical analysis of the data, at that point in time mostly these participant fields are used. There are also some like you can also do it just to store information, like you store it in a CRM system, where you have all the details of the companies at one place. So you can also use ProBench as a CRM system if you want, where you have all the information at one place, and you do not have to rely on multiple systems to store all the information. So these are the 2 major, but it is nothing related to any, like they are not related to any groups or anything. It is just an additional information that you might like to store within ProBench itself, instead of storing it anywhere else, or getting the same information from the users after every survey. So that's what it is.
Thank you. That's much clearer.
Sure.
Hi, Gautam. I was just quickly asking that where you were showing us the filtration process of the participants,
Yeah.
is it possible to download that sort of list, or does it come as a part of data analysis and we can use the same filtration process?
Yeah, so this as soon as you filter here, so
Mhm.
whatever you filter, you will be able to download it
Okay,
in this
yeah,
format. So it's a
that's
CSV or an
brilliant.
Excel. So whatever you see on the screen here is available in the CSV or an XLS format. All
Okay.
right. So there are some additional fields. If you also want internal name, you can like show, hide. So all these things can be done. So depending on that, you can download it from the Excel.
Wow, this is great. Thanks.
All right, then I'll move forward quickly because we have a bit of lack of time. So we'll take questions at a later end if we have time. Next is about the invite participants. So like as the name suggests, so to invite the participants, one way I have already told, you can go to edit and send the invitation to a single or an individual participant. Now, if you want to suppose do it in bulk or do to multiple participants, then you go to communication and there is invite participants here. And invite participants, it's again like the same type of filters that we had, like participant region, participant survey, etc., and filter like if the email address does not exist, then you will see all the participants where the email address does not exist. Currently there is no participant where email address does not exist. So that is what the screen is for. uh, then there is like show participant fields filter. It's again the same, whatever fields that you have added, you can filter. So here like one of our clients use a Probench for invitation, and now like to answer Teresa's question about how the participant fields can be used. So they send the invitations to the companies in batches. Okay, so what they have done is they have created a participant field which has information like batch 1, batch 2, batch 3, or whatever name they would like to have. And then like whenever they select say batch 1, or yeah, in your case there's a signatory program, then only those participant are listed which are in that batch, and then they can use send all to send invite to only those batches. Okay, so this would like this is can be used as another grouping methodology, like along with the region or group. You can also have another way to group the participants. So participant fields can also be used in that sense. So that is that. Now the most important field in this participant invite participant is the email template. So Probench gives you a way where you can create your own email templates. Okay, so in this case, if I select this particular email template and click on edit, it would take me to an email template which is predefined. And if you see within this email template, there is like this placeholders. So these placeholders are basically would be replaced by the actual username, or like when I say username is the first name or the primary contact name that we added at the time of adding participants. And this company name would be the company name, and then the company code would be the unique code that would be going to the user, so that they can register into the system using that code. So that would come as a part of another session where we'll discuss about the registration processes in place. But yeah, company code or whatever you saw on the manage participant screen, this code, this company code is exactly what this company code signifies here. So we have multiple such placeholders. So for that, what you can do is like every screen has a help on the top. You can click on that help link, and it will take you to the exact screen on our help document. And there you will see like these are all the company codes or the placeholders that you can use, and there is meaning to each of the placeholders. So feel free to use that help icon on top of each of the screens. That normally helps you to get the answer immediately, and if not, then please let us know, we can help you out. But yeah, this is like if email, so you select an email template from here, select the participants or group of participants based on the filters, and then either you click on send all, which would send emails to all the companies where there is primary contact email addresses, or if you want to decide to only select some of them, then you can like directly click on send from here, and it would send to individually to those companies. So this is how the invitations can be sent through ProBench. Now, one more thing is also possible. Like suppose like you want to create your own template, email template, like then you click on this create new email template. It would take you to a blank screen, and then you can add whatever text that you want to add using the filters that we just saw here. So wherever you want this filters to be part of in your email address, just like copy this from here. I'll just like, if I create it, then it would be dear and username. So this would be adding the username. Then wherever I want to add the company name, I'll like copy it, sorry, and paste it here. So here the headlines that is mentioned is would be used as a subject line. Okay, so whatever subject line, say assessments start on say 11th October. So whatever the subject line you want to have for that email address, for that particular invitation, whatever text you want, and I'll click on create. Okay, so as soon as I click on create, I'll see that assessment start on 11th October here in the list. So I'll select that in the list, and then I click on send all to whatever participants. So you can create your own email addresses as well without our help. I mean email templates. So that's customizable as well. Okay. Any questions on this area?
Yes, Gautam.
Sure.
Teresa has asked one question on chat.
Sure. So
Yeah.
is it possible to set up email templates that are automated to follow up a company who need a push to progress finish to meet deadlines? So yeah, email templates, as I said, you can create your own new email templates. And you can also use the same invitation functionality to remind the companies about their deadlines. So you can set up your own emails. So if you do not use if you do not want to use this company code and you are using it for the reminder purposes and things, then it's perfectly fine. So none of these placeholders are mandatory to have in that email address. The system would only replace the ones that they get. So it's perfectly fine.
I guess, thank you, that's very helpful. But if I may just, and maybe it's something that needs to come offline, but you know, if we've sent out a survey and we've got a 6 weeks turnaround and it gets to the 4-week mark and we do an assessment and we see, you know, like 80% of participants have only done 20% of the survey, is there a way to kind of batch those laggers so that we can just group them all together and send a reminder, and it's kind of automated that at the 4-week mark, if the company has only done 20%, this is the email they get. At the 4-week mark, if they've done 80%, this is the email they get. Is it possible to go into that kind of detail?
Right. So to answer that, there is a yes and a no. Yes is like you can send the emails. The no is for like it is not yet automated. So you cannot set it automated. But like within communication, you have send reminders as well. And in the send reminders, whatever survey you select, then there is a send category. So again, like the reminder templates, you can create whatever email templates that you want using plus and edit icons, similarly to what you did for the invitation. And in the send category, you have this categories that we have predefined. Okay, so if there are companies who have completed less than 25%, then you can select it from here, and only the companies, like at the bottom you will see the list of companies who have only completed less than 25%, and then you can send that emails. So that is possible, but it is like predefined categories is what we have currently. And
it's not an automatic trigger.
No, there is no automatic trigger
manually
triggered.
As of,
okay. Yeah, currently it's not automated. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? All right. So I'll move forward with the third part, and again a bit of important part, which is user management. So when it comes to user management, I'll first give a brief about what are the types of users that we have in ProBench. So this is again in on our documentation site. So ProBench, there are basically two types of users. If you see on a bird's eye view, there's like front-end users, which are called as logins in ProBench, and there are backend users, which are called as administrators. Okay, so front-end users are the users of the companies who fill data on behalf of the company, or it may be shared users, like using our shared share a page functionality. So whoever user uses that shared a page functionality can also log in. So those are like basically the users who fill the data on behalf of the company. So the company users that way. And then the backend users, which are called as administrators. So the users like you guys. So there are multiple roles that we have in place. So these roles are like the administrator is one of the role which has rights to each and every area, like they can do whatever they want to do within ProBench backend. And the next is the response managers. So these response managers are the users who has administrator right, but they can only go and do or impersonate a particular company and provide their responses. They cannot do like data analysis, or they cannot add a survey, they cannot modify the templates. So all those things are not possible for this managers of this role, which is called as response managers. So in our case, like most of the times, those are analysts, those are reviewers, those are third party reviewers. They are also called as assessors sometimes. So these are mainly used for the clients who actually do public assessment, where they collect the publicly available data, and they are collected by the analysts, and then they send it or invite the companies to review whatever scores they have given to the users. So that is what is the response manager. So this is one role. Then there is reporting manager. So as the name suggests, they would be able to analyze the data, so work with the data sets, they can work with the scorecards. So all those things can be done by the reporting managers. Then there are survey managers who can actually go and modify the survey, they can modify the templates, etc. And then there are read-only managers. So read-only managers are the ones who can impersonate as the companies, but when they get into the company and go into a particular survey, they would only be able to see the survey, they or the responses. They won't be able to modify anything, they won't be able to save any changes. So these users are called as read-only managers. So these are the roles that we have in place within. So these are the types of users, if I might say, the way these users can be used. Now like to give you a brief, like which role would use or would see which menu items on the back end. So these are the menu items, right? So there is an administrator roles in the document. Okay, so where we have mentioned like what is the meaning of each of these roles and what are the menu items that they would be able to see. Okay, so this would help you to decide if you have a particular requirement in your scenario, like if there is a user who should not do certain things, then you can refer to this documentation, okay, which would kind of help you to figure out which role would fit best for that particular manager user, okay, or which role would fit best for them. So this is about the types of users and the roles that are there on ProBench. Now I'll take you to how you can add the administrators. So here is so there is a user management menu, and inside that there is administrators. So you'll see the list of all the administrators. That's pretty normal. Now I click on one of edit one of the users, say this one. So yeah, here you will see the username. So it can be the username, whatever username or whatever what I will say format that you want to have for the username. You can also use email addresses. In this case, there is no restriction on that, but we normally avoid to add email addresses, because in case you also want to get in as a login user, then it might create a problem. So but it's completely fine to also have your email address as a username whenever you are creating an administrator. Okay. The next part is the generate password. So this is a kind of newly added feature which is added a couple of months back. So when you click on this tick, then there is no need for you to add the passwords. Okay, so when you tick this, do all the other necessary changes and you click on update, an automated email would be going to that email address that you have added here, to that user with their credentials. So the password would be auto generated. It's a random character password, and that particular password can then be used to log in into the system. So and you have both the options. If you don't want to generate it automatically, you are doing it for yourself maybe, or say some colleague who have asked you to put a certain password, then even you can add that particular password manually. So there's no restriction on that thing. So you add the username, you add the password, or click on generate password, you activate that particular administrator. You add the all the email addresses, first name, last name, and then again there is a region or a group. We'll change it to group, so you'll next see it group. So here you can select to which group this administrator belongs. So this is again, like, this is something that we are going to release on the coming Wednesday. I mean next Wednesday, where you would be able to also assign groups to a manager, so that manager would only be able to view those surveys to which they are part of, or to the group to which they are part of. Okay, so you can also restrict the views of the managers when it comes to groups. So if you do not want a manager to see everything or see all the surveys when they go into the front end or impersonate as a company, then you would be able to do it going forward. So you would be able to also select group to a manager user. And then there are managers, the roles that we just mentioned, and the link to the page, the role page that I just mentioned, like which roles would have which, is already provided here. So you can refer to this link to kind of see which roles and what is suitable for the managers that you are creating. Okay, and then the comments, whatever, if at all you want to have comments, and all the log of that particular manager is mentioned here. Okay, so you'll see when that manager has last logged in, when it was logged out. If in case the manager is logged out, then you can use this particular area here. All right, so this is what it for the administrators users. So any doubts when it comes to the administrator users? Any questions that you have? Okay, I have a couple of questions here. Sorry, there's one question from Teresa. Can you also restrict the viewing by participant fields? So no, Teresa, we cannot restrict using the participant fields. It's just the group using which you can restrict. So there is no other restrictions available. Anyone else, any other questions about adding the administrators? All right, sure. So I'll move on to the next type of users. Like before I move on, sorry, I just missed out on one part. Like Similarly, like you edited it, you can also create the administrator from here. You can search from here, and also like this particular tick boxes, it would show you whether that particular administrator is an active administrator or logged out, or you have disabled that administrator. So this tick would help you to know about that. So yeah, and if in case one of your colleagues gets logged out and is not able to log in because of like either they have forgotten their password or maybe due to multiple login attempts, then what you can do is you can just go to that particular user. You can click on edit. Okay, and here normally if the user is logged out, you will see a button here on the right hand side which would say that unlock this user, or it would say unlock. So you click on that button, so it would unlock that user. Okay, and then if they have forgotten their password, then you can like click on generate password and click on update. They'll get another email with a new password. You do not have to kind of really reveal their password on a chat or something, so that might be useful. So yeah, the next type of users is login users. So when it comes to login users, so normally these login users are automatically added using the registration process that we have. But in case you still have to create a new login user, then this is what you will have to do. So under the user management, go to logins, click on create logins. So here you add their personal details like name, last name, email address. You also add their passwords here, whatever password that you would like to add. There's no generate password yet for this particular functionality. And this ignore this, these are not the mandatory fields. Just ignore even if you see anything here. So just ignore those two fields. And you click on active. Okay, and this particular field is very important here. So here you will decide like this this login is should be associated with which particular company. Okay, so if I want a user to be only associated with a particular company when I'm adding them, then you have to select the company from here, so that whenever this user would log in, they would only be able to respond as this particular company, or respond to the data, or fill the data on behalf of that company. So this associated with field is very important when it comes to adding a new login. Okay, and then registration reference, it's again an optional thing, you can just ignore that. So these are the fields that are there when creating a login. One more thing there are like normally there are complaints about like user has clicked on forgot password. Okay, but they have not received an email due to either it has landed in their spam, or their company's firewall has stopped that emails whatever, so they do not get the forgot password or the forgotten password. So in that case, you as an administrator, what you can do is you can edit that particular user. Like if I go to this user, okay, when I edit, I'll see that particular password that was sent to their email address on this forgotten password key. So this forgotten password key would be automatically generated when a user clicks on forgotten password, okay, and enters their email address. So what you can do is, if they've not received an email, you can just copy that key from here and send it across to them on a personal email and ask them to log in using that key or a password. So they would be able to still log in as that user. Okay, so this that is a very normal complaint that we normally get. So this is one way. And then you can also see like what user has logged in when, at what point in time it was created. So some users complain that I have registered, but I am not able to log in. So you can first go and verify whether that user is in the list Other thing, you can verify when that user was registered, when they have created. So in case there is a mismatch of information, then you can like talk to them saying like what wrong they have done. Have they entered something else because you are not able to see them on the screen or on the list. Then these logs can be useful, whether they have like forgotten, made a wrong attempts multiple times. So all those things can be seen here in the log. Okay. Any questions here for the logins? Any questions about anything that we have covered in this session? Because this is the last part. There's nothing more to cover in this session except for the ideas. But yeah, I've covered most of the things here. Yeah, one thing I missed out is about the send activation email. Like this is for the logins, user management logins, when you create company users. So what you can do is you can create the logins here, whatever username, password, whatever you create, and then you can click on this particular tick here and click on update. So what it would do is it would send an email to that particular user, okay, saying that you have been activated or added to the system, and these are your credentials. Okay, so this email can also be edited. So it's not like it's a predefined email in the ProBench, and you cannot edit that email template. So what you can do is you can like currently when you like actually sorry, yeah, go to this help on the top. Uh, so yeah. So at the bottom, there are some FAQs that are added. So you'll come to know how to send an activation email. So this is there, how to edit the email content. So if you follow all these steps, you would be able, and these are the placeholders like we had for the other one. So these placeholders can then be used in that email. This is the email template, and you can go and edit that email template to whatever content that you want to add. So this is how. So these are the FAQs. I think these FAQs can also be helpful for you. So yeah, like whatever screens that you go into, there is always a help document or a help link on the top, which we are actually planning to like make it like this somewhere that you will see on the screen, because this normally goes on the top and it kind of uh, uh, mostly invisible to the normal eyes. So we'll push it here. But yeah, this help document can take you to the necessary documentation of ProBench, and you can go through that. So yeah. Any questions? All right. Like the next step is about the ideation or idea sharing. Like in this particular session, like we have like only 5 minutes, but yeah, we can still cover it. Like I would like you to kind of share either the problems that you normally face, or if you have any suggestions that something should be changed in ProBench, which would be a lot of value to you and save a lot of time, at least in these 3 screens that we discussed today. So that would help us to kind of improve, as we have already did in some of the areas, but we are still under improvement and trying to make the system intuitive. So if you have any suggestions, ideas, please do share. This is a good forum to have. Like we can work towards that going forward.
Hi, Gautam. I have a quick sort of a suggestion or question.
Sure.
On the user logins, when we have that page where we can create or generate passwords or send them, yeah, just scrolling down where we have confirmed on and created on, is it possible to add updated by, and then we can see which admin or manager? Because sometimes it so happens is that we see that a company is activated, but we're wondering who activated in the team, or like just to track it back.
Okay, got it. Got it. Sure, that can be done. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Sure. That's a good point. Yeah. Any other suggestions? Ideas?
Hey Gautam, it's Aurélie.
Yeah, hi, Aurélie.
Hi, thanks a lot for the session. Yeah, I was just wondering if it would be possible to do bulk edits on users. You see, for instance, selecting 5 users and activating them all at once when we have the list.
Got it. So in the list, there should be a checkbox on the left hand side or something. You click that and activate them in the bulk. Yeah, got it. Sure. We'll look into it. Yeah. So this you would basically like any like, can you explain the reason why you normally do that? Like
It's just that that's something I just did it right now actually to check users that are not like staff members, for instance, that have left the organization. So it would just be to to be a bit more strict, maybe also on processes to deactivate users and be faster, because right now you really have to open each of them to be
I understand. Yeah, got it. Thanks. Yeah, it's important for us to just know that why we are doing something, so that if in case we have a different idea which can help you with the same thing, then we can implement it in that way, which would even make it more helpful for you. So yeah, just thank you so much. Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I think that was a very good point. And just to add to that, is it possible to have a view where you can see like the recent activation requests, or some sort of a filter where we can see the recent activation requests, so the member who is activating can check like daily or weekly, and then just see what are the recent activations this week and just directly do it here instead of maintaining a separate file and records.
All right, so something like on the top where you are able to show unconfirmed users, or so similarly kind of a filter which would help you to understand how many requests are pending, so that you can like select all and activate them in one go, kind of. Yeah,
exactly. Or even if it's activating one by one, at least seeing them at least all together.
Got it. Yeah, great point.
I also have one question. I'm so sorry, but maybe we'll cover it in one of the sessions later on. And it was related to like probably data analysis, so it'll come later on. So, but I was just curious about the filters and better filtration process.
Yeah. I think we'll take it up in our data analysis session. Because we are also currently working on some of the filters already. So let's see if that helps in that point.
Hi, Gata. Can I just shoot in a question?
Sure,
August
definitely.
Here.
Hi, August.
Yeah, so I was just wondering, when we do send outs from this platform ProBench here, we usually get a like send out report from you guys that we ask for,
right?
That we get in an Excel file. But if I just want to go into a specific company or account to see if our invitation was actually sent or opened by them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Is there a possible way to see the status of the send out in the
program? Currently, like it is not available. So because for this sending of the emails, we are using a third-party tool, which is SendGrid. Okay, and whenever you want that information about the status of whether the emails have been sent or not, we actually download the report from their site and send it across to you, so that you can get it. But yeah, we are already exploring an API from SendGrid. Okay, so that if we are able to use that API into our system and create a screen on the system itself, like which would give you the status of that particular email, whatever you have sent, then we would definitely try to do that, so that you get everything within ProBench and you do not have to kind of be dependent on us when we send you the reports and to download the things. So we are already in process of exploring that. but it's because a third party thing, it might take a couple of months to actually get
Yeah,
there.
sure.
But yeah, I completely agree what you are trying to say, because once there is an invitation sent, obviously you will also need to know how many of them have opened, how many of them the emails have reached, and stuff. So yeah, we are already working towards that. So yeah, I'll
Yeah,
update
like
you whenever there is. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Sounds good, because often for us at least, it's further along our projects that the companies maybe get back to us and
Right.
state that they haven't received any message or so. So
Got it.
yeah.
Got it. Got it. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
I guess Eva also mentioned one point, but I guess she has left the meeting.
All
But
right.
yeah, we can consider that. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I'll how about putting an expiry date for users? So if you have temporary staff, you can set, that's a very good suggestion. Uh, Definitely, we can have an expiry date. So like we have expiry dates for survey, we there's also need for expiry date to administrators, or maybe because in some cases where analysts are part of the system, I think they are temporary analysts and they keep on switching the projects whenever the project is done. So next year they again come with a different set of users. So yeah, that's a good suggestion there, Eva. So definitely we'll look into this as well. Sure. Yeah, I think orally you were able to relate to that. Yeah, got it.
Just one quick question on
Sure.
the screen. Below the assign groups where there is 1 or 2, is there a hover and then we can, okay, yeah, okay, I think I missed it.
Yeah, it was it's still kind of work in progress. Like we are still doing the UI stuff, but yeah, you'll basically see the list of assigned groups here. So you do not have to kind of go to each and every edit and do things.
And I guess it will apply for the current year of the survey or something like that.
It would apply to overall. So groups are not related to the years. So
Okay.
it's completely independent of the years. So so if there is a brand and retailers group, then it would be the group for all the years. So
Okay,
that's
okay.
how it's already managed. So it's not it's independent of the years, so to say.
I was thinking more of the current year, but yeah, maybe that's a thing we can pick it up later.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. I think, yeah. Any other questions? And I think we have already gone above the time. But if still there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. There's no problem. I'm okay. Sure. Then no problem. If I'll also send a feedback form after this session. So if you have any questions that were not answered in the session, then please do add your questions in that feedback group. I'll try to record the video to answer those questions and add it to this particular recording. So it's always there. And also the recording would be put on our YouTube channel. I'll share the links to that channel so you can refer it going forward or share it with your colleagues whenever you want to. Sure. Hopefully this was helpful. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.